Hey awesome people, welcome to this episode of Sew Addicts. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make what you saw at the beginning of this video. So I guess we're learning how to make an oversized drapey top and some tapered pants. Yeah, I really don't know the name for this, but this tutorial actually has a story. So once upon a time, this girl went to the fabric store. Well, this awesome girl that runs a pretty good YouTube channel. She went to the fabric store and she just happened to find this really cool pattern that she thought her viewers would like. So I guess this is more of a sew along video. So yeah, where you grab the pattern and you pretty much sew along. So I really like the style. Obviously the girl was me. I really like the style of this pattern. So I decided to make it and show you guys how to actually put it all together where you guys can actually make it on your own. So going into the pattern, this is a V9305 Vogue pattern. Now this baby is so easy to sew, and the reason I chose the design because it is so cute, simple, and just, I don't know, it's just everything, especially when you do it in like a really vibrant color, which I do encourage you guys to try. No limits, patterns, colors, anything you want. If you want it with a short sleeve, long sleeve, medium sleeve, half sleeve, anything, you have the option of picking any of these three variations of this pattern. Now also make sure, pattern rule number one, make sure to check the sizes before you actually buy the pattern. You guys know I never really use patterns, so yeah, you want to make sure to check the sizes before you actually buy the pattern. And of course I attached the size chart right here for you guys, so you know what size of pattern to pick before you actually make your design. So again, the pattern is V9305, and I obviously attach everything for you guys down below, so make sure to click on the links to get this pattern. And one thing that is so great is they actually give you fabric recommendations, which goes from Ponte Knit to crepe back satin to even some linen blends. I actually use a Ponte Knit because it was much more heavier, and I adore Ponte Knits. Those are like my favorite kind of knits, so that was my route. But you could definitely just go with any other recommendations, or just even go with your instincts or whatever you think would work best for you. So this is your pattern. Awesome pattern. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you're new to my channel, hey, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit down that red subscribe button so you can see more awesome videos from me. And let's just jump right into our sew along. So going into my fabric choice, as you guys can see, I got Ponte Knit in pink, and I got about 4.5 yards, and my fabric is actually 45 inches wide, but if you have a 60-inch fabric, you might want to consider again 3.5 yards. So going into the patterns now, as you guys can see, all the patterns are going to be laid out for you in this tutorial. Of course, this is the first pattern, which is the front, and we're going to be cutting only one of this. The second pattern is also part of the front, which is going to be the drape, and this is going to go on bias, which I'm going to show you guys how to cut later on in the video. The third pattern is the back, which we're going to cut two of. So the back looks like this. You want to make sure to iron your pattern out neatly as well. And of course, the last pattern we're going to use is the sleeve, which is the fourth pattern, and it's literally just a rectangular square. Okay, so first you want to lay your fabric out without it being unfolded, and we're just going to cut one piece of the first pattern. So you want to make sure that your grain line is right on the same parallel line as the edge or the selvage of your fabric, and you just want to pin this all around, making sure that everything is laying nice and flat, and we're just going to cut that out neatly as well. So one thing you want to keep in mind is to make sure that you also notch all your notches as well. These little triangles over here, you want to make sure to cut them out really nice. So I have my front pattern all cut out, so make sure again to notch all your triangles here, making sure that they're all notched. These are where you're going to be matching other patterns together, making sure that they're nice and neat. And we also want to make sure to mark this hole, or this circle rather, right here. Now this circle has a small, medium, and extra small point, so whatever pattern size you cut out, you want to make sure to mark that point as well. So I cut out a medium, so I'm just going to mark that little circle in my invisible pen, and I'm just marking that on the front pattern. So now again, without my fabric being on fold, I'm going to cut out this other front side. So I want to make sure that my grain line is parallel to the edge of my fabric. So this is going to be cut unbiased. So I'm just going ahead and measuring away from the edge, making sure that it's the same width all around my pattern. So I'm measuring 10 inches away from the edge, making sure it's the same width at the bottom and at the top of my pattern. This allows your piece to drape really nice, and obviously it's on bias as well, so you're gonna get that really nice drape. So you want to pin this all around just like we said before, and we're just gonna cut that out neatly as well. So next part, we're going to be cutting out the back. Now the back is going to be cut twice, so we're just going to put this right on fold. So now I'm just placing my pattern at the edge of my fabric, and you want to make sure to actually cut 2 of these. So I'm just placing it a little away from the end so I can cut that straight down, but you could definitely just place it however you want. Just make sure that your grain line is indeed parallel to your edge of your fabric. So now I'm just going ahead and pinning everything nice and straight to the bottom, and of course you also want to cut that out neatly as well. So now that I have my back piece all cut out, I just wanted to draw you guys' attention to this circle right here at the back as well. Just like the front, we're going to go ahead and actually mark the circle on both sides of our fabric. So now I also am going to go ahead and cut out my sleeve, and I'm just going to cut out my sleeve twice as well. So I have my fabric folded twice, and you just want to place your sleeve right at the center, making sure that your selvage again is parallel. And we're also going to be tracing this circle right here, just like we did for the front and the back. So you want to pin your sleeve all around all the edges, and of course we're also going to cut this out. Now we're going to get started with the fun part. We're going to start attaching our front piece together. So you want to grab that extra piece of your front, and now we're going to actually attach this to the side of our big front piece. So you want to make sure to flip over your piece this direction, making sure the curve is on the outside, and we're going to join our small piece and our big pattern front piece right sides facing right sides together. So you want to make sure to sew all the way from this edge to this point over here that we marked previously with our invisible pen. So we're just going to sew that neatly on a straight line. So I have this sewn up, as you guys can see, just from this edge to my point, and you should also press this down so it lays neatly. So moving on to the back, we're going to sew our center backs together. Now one thing to keep in mind, remember the circle we traced the center back? So now we're actually going to be sewing from that circle all the way down the bottom of our center back. So we're going to be leaving about maybe 5-inch opening at the top. So you want to sew from that point, which is the circle we traced earlier, all the way down to the bottom. So I went ahead and actually sewed this on my sewing machine, and it should look something like this. Again, do not forget to press. So now that we have this, I'm just going to go right ahead, making sure that this stays down, and I'm just going to top stitch this on my sewing machine. So I went ahead and did it, and this is how it looks. So now everything is laying really nice and neat, and you have this really clean top stitch holding that part of your center back steady and together. So the next thing we're going to do, of course, is to attach our front and back piece together. So you want to make sure to place your fabric right sides to right sides, and we're going to be attaching our front and backs only at the shoulders. So I'm just going right ahead and actually pinning this nice and neat so I could sew it neatly on my sewing machine. So now that we're done with this, you want to also make sure to press this out really nicely. So the next thing we're going to do is to get our sleeve. So remember those circles we traced out before? Now we're actually going to attach that circle all the way at the top of our shoulders. So you want to make sure to pin the circle at the top of your shoulder point, just like this, and we're gonna sew this from the top of our back piece all the way to the front. So I'm gonna sew this on the sewing machine the exact way I'm pinning it, just to show you guys. So I'm pinning it right here on the front piece, and I'm also pinning the back as well. So do not hesitate, and make sure to do this on the other sleeve as well. So I went ahead and sewed this on the sewing machine, so yours should be looking something like this. So now it's pretty much smooth sailing all the way from here. So we're gonna be attaching our front and back at the side seams. So you wanna make sure to turn your fabric inside out, and now we're actually gonna be attaching the side seams all the way from the edge of the sleeve all the way to the bottom of our top. So I'm just going right ahead and pinning this, making sure that all my seams and all my lines meet up really nicely. Do not forget your notches are also going to help you as a guideline when attaching your front and back together. So I went ahead and actually attached mine, and as you guys can see, it is looking pretty cool at this point. So we're just gonna go right ahead and finish up our neckline. So my neckline, I'm folding that at 1/4 of an inch inside, and I'm just gonna top stitch that on my sewing machine. So you want to make sure to actually fold this at 1/4 all around. It would really help if you press this down before you sew it, because it just really allows it to lay nice and flat. So you also want to go right ahead and finish up your sleeve as well. And the sleeve, I'm also going to be folding this about 5/8 of an inch. So you want to make sure to also fold this about 5/8 all around your sleeve. And I'm also going to be top stitching that. You could definitely finish these however you want, but these seems to be pretty easy to me, so I'm just going to go right ahead and do that. So again, you also want to finish the front of your pattern as well. So this opening, I'm just going to go right ahead and fold 5/8 of an inch. And I'm just going to pin this, and also make sure to press this and top stitch this on the sewing machine. So I do have a curve right here, so you want to make sure, again, press this so your curve is laying nice and smooth and has that nice curve, and you want to do this all around your front piece. So I went ahead and actually top stitched everything. I top stitched my neckline, my sleeve, as you guys can see, and I also top stitched the front piece of my front pattern. If you want to, you could trim off all the excess seam allowances that you have inside of your top stitch. So to neatly finish up the garment, I'm going to put a hook and eye to keep this section closed. So you could pretty much use anything from a button or anything you really want, some studs, but I'm just gonna use a hook and eye because that is gonna take me like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes to sew, and it's just probably easier. So you wanna make sure to grab a nice thread and needle, and you just really want to sew your hooks and eye at those points to make sure that the opening at the top of your neck is nicely secured. So that is the last step of making our drapey top. At this point, make sure that all your seams are nice and tight, and also make sure to press this out really nicely, and your top is pretty much ready to wear. Thank you for joining me in another episode of Sew Addicts. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and as you guys can tell, this tutorial was only for the top. Now, guess who's gonna be doing the pants next week? Am I gonna be doing the pants? I'm gonna be doing the pants, and it's gonna be freaking awesome. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure to tune in next week for the other half of this tutorial, where I'm gonna be showing you how to actually sew the pants together. Now make sure to keep in mind that these items are actually separate, where you can wear the top on anything you want, and you can wear this pant or style it with anything you want. So these are separate items. You don't have to make the top in the pants, and you could, like I'm doing, because I'm just like that. So make sure to keep in mind that you can actually make these separate. And if you want to learn how to make the pants, you should tune in next week. Yeah, make sure to tune in. Anyway, if you're making the top or anything else, make sure to also tag me in all your awesome photos of DamiaDinekX, so you can get a chance to be featured on the Sew Addict Spotlight, which is super amazing, showing you guys, my subscribers out there, the works of people that do or follow my tutorials. yeah, so you get a chance to be featured in the Sew Addict Spotlight if you sew any of the tutorials or make anything I show you guys every week, and you tag me in any of your awesome photos on Instagram. It's that simple. Yes, I think so. Okay, back to work. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. If you have any questions, concerns, anything, make sure to also scroll down and leave me a couple of words. I'm looking at those every day, I promise. And I'm replying as many people as I can with comments and suggestions or even questions about anything that they are making. I'm looking at those as well. So if you haven't already, make sure to also hit that subscribe button so you can see more awesome videos from me. And I hope to catch you awesome Sew Addicts next week for pants. Yes, fire. Bye.